when it comes to my English manga collection, you can kind of see some of it right there. While it is nowhere near as big as my Japanese collection, I do have two bookshelves for my Japanese collection. I do still have I have some English. I have a number of English volumes. And I do have a few imprints. Like, I know I have quite a few Shoujo Beat from Viz and Love Love from Tokyo Pop. I think that's really it. And like one Shonen Jump. But I am trying to make my way through specifically the Shoujo Beat titles just cuz I'm a shoujo girly. I really like the shoujos. I'm trying to read most of what they put out if I can. I don't like everything, but I do want to give everything a chance. Like when it comes to Japanese manga, the imprints that I typically like are like Hana to Yume, I like Dessert. At least they're slightly older stuff. I haven't sampled all their new stuff. And Lala. Those are the three ones that I know I generally will like just about everything they put out. But with English, it's kind of different. I feel like the English imprints are nowhere near as curated as the Japanese imprints. Like just shojo, here you go, when it's like it should be. I feel like it should be a little bit more curated than that, but whatever. I'll take what I get. So I am trying to read, at least sample, all of the Shoujo Beat titles that I can get my hands on. That means if I go to the thrift store and I find a Shoujo Beat like this one, Ultra Maniac, this one's old, a very old Shoujo Beat, I will pick it up to sample. And this way I can grow my collection. Can I get this back? So I am slowly but surely trying to read all of the Shoujo Beat titles that I can get my hands on. There have been a few that I didn't like all that much, but more often than not, I have enjoyed what I have read. And in today's video, I want to talk about one that I just read the other day that I did end up really liking, which is called Kakuriyo, Bed and Breakfast for Spirits. This is a series. It originally was a light novel, then adapted into a manga. It looks like the manga has 11 volumes and the light novel had 12. Both are completed. I have only read volume 1 of the manga, so I cannot report on anything that goes on beyond volume 1. Because this is a light novel originally, there are multiple authors credited because one person wrote the original story and then another did the art. Overall, when I was reading this, I really did feel like I had read this story before. And then I found out it has an anime. And what I'm assuming happened is that I read the anime, or I watched the anime forever ago and then I just forgot about it, or like I sampled the anime and then I forgot about it, cuz volume 1, while it was still like new to me, it did feel kind of familiar. As in like I wasn't all that surprised by what happened, but I couldn't guess what happened. Like it didn't feel like a reread, but it felt like I've been exposed to this story before. So I wouldn't be surprised if I had just watched episode 1 of the anime and then forgot about it. That feels like something I would do. But I did really enjoy this one. This is a I don't know if it ends up being romance. Volume 1, no romance. This is I'm just going to say it's a fantasy series. It's a little bit like slice of life. It's kind of cozy. I really like reading it in December felt like right. So, what is this series about? Let's talk about it. So, we follow our protagonist named Aoi. She just lost her grandfather, who wasn't the best guy around. He fathered a lot of children, like a lot of children. He also kind of swindled a lot of people. He owed a lot of people debts. He liked to have fun and he didn't like to be tied down. And he liked to have fun that caused harm to other people, it seems. But he's gone now. What can you do? The Aoi, even though he was kind of a troublesome person, he was still her grandfather. And he was the one who rescued her from an orphanage at a very, very young age. He brought her up, taught her lots of things, made sure she never went hungry. To her, he was like her savior. So she could forgive some of his less good qualities. Now that he's passed away, though, at his funeral, there's so many people because he has so many relatives. But the only one who actually seems to be like sad about his passing is Aoi, which is very sad. Following Aoi after the funeral, She's going into university. She's trying really hard. She has tuition from her grandfather. She's ready to become a good adult, to make good adult money, to like put herself out there into the world. She's full of ambition. And she's walking to get things set up when she sees some kind of magical, mystical creatures just floating around. Turns out that Aoi has the ability to see yokai. So did her grandfather. And yokai are just a sort of like creature. They're non-human supernatural creatures. Some are scary, some are just they're kind of cute. There's a huge variety of them. They're just kind of like animals in a way that can talk. So Aoi has the ability to feed or to see yokai, but she also I think she enjoys feeding the yokai, because if a yokai is hungry, a lot of the times they may just eat a human. Like if they're that hungry, a human can satiate their hunger. Why not eat them? To save the humans, Aoi likes to always have some food with her ready to feed the yokai with. And sometimes she really does just feed them because they're cute. Like there are these little, like I think they're like kappa, like little turtley creatures who beg her for food, and she gives them all like these onigiri rice balls, and they're really really cute to watch. So I think she like genuinely enjoys feeding some of them. But her grandfather warned her to never trust a yokai. But if you feed them, you might save a human, and they're also kind of cute. So she does keep his warning at the back of her head, but also she does think she's doing good by keeping them fed. After she says goodbye to the cute little turtle kappa, I think they're kappa, she continues walking, where she sees a humanoid yokai with a spooky mask on, claiming he's hungry. Much different vibes than the cute little turtles from earlier. This one, she's pretty terrified. Like she's thinking like he will absolutely eat somebody if he's hungry. So she gives him her lunch. The food that she gave the kappa was just extra food she prepared specifically for the yokai. This one is her lunch. So she's going to go hungry just to make sure that he doesn't eat anybody. He eats it and thanks her using her name. So she's a little bit like, oh, like that's kind of weird, but she doesn't want to spend any extra time with him. So she tells him, when you're done, just put the container back down where you found it, and I will come back and grab it. She leaves, comes back. He's nowhere to be found, but the container is there right where he left it. She picks it up, opens it up, and notices he left a beautiful hairpin and this like cloth with kind of a beautiful design on it. And she's thinking, wow, these are so beautiful. Like, oh my god, like that yokai was actually pretty nice. And then like a rift opens up and sucks her in, and she is teleported to the world of the yokai. And she recalls the full warning that her grandfather told her. Wasn't just to stay clear of yokai, be careful around yokai. It was to stay clear and be careful around yokai, but be extra careful around ogres, because ogres will trick you and kidnap you. And wouldn't you know, the yokai that she gave her own lunch to just so happened to be an ogre. And he does indeed kidnap her, brings her to his realm, and announces her as his new bride. They are to be married. And Aoi's just kind of like, where am I? What just happened? Like she's getting a feel for her new surroundings. She doesn't have time to think of, this is my husband now. What? Who are all of these terrifying looking creatures that are now before me? She's very disoriented. But before she can really like say or do anything, a verbal fight breaks out between all of the yokai in the room she was just teleported into, with everybody complaining that there's no way she should be allowed to marry the ogre that kidnapped her. Nobody's upset that the ogre kidnapped her. They're upset at the idea of a human marrying the ogre. Even though the ogre's the one who like forcibly brought her there, whatever. The ogre says that like, I've decided it's her. Like, sucks to suck, she's my new bride. And then the ogre and Aoi go to a separate room so they can have a chat. Aoi is adamantly refusing to marry the ogre because obviously she is. And the ogre tells her, like, you gotta marry me. Like, it turns out, he starts to explain, Your grandfather accumulated a hefty, hefty debt. And in order to repay the debt, he promised one of his granddaughters to the ogre to be married. And it just so happens Aoi is the only one of his granddaughters that can even see yokai. So obviously it has to be her. And Aoi's like, great, like, thanks, Grandpa. You sold me out so long ago. And so Aoi's kind of in a pickle. But the ogre isn't the worst ogre in the world, I guess. Because he tells Aoi, like, hey, like, I understand this isn't your debt, but you inherited the debt when you lost your grandfather. So you can either pay me back or you can marry me. But it's got to be one of the two. Aoi does not want to marry the demon or the yokai, not because he's a yokai, not because he's an ogre, but because they just met. That's what she's upset about. Not because he kidnapped her. She's just adamant that she cannot marry somebody she had only met that day. Which, like, true, but he also kidnapped you. I feel like she has other things to be upset about. But that's her opinion. So she says she will work there. And the ogre kind of turns a little bit spooky and says, like, okay, you don't want to marry me. That's cool. Like, I'm not going to protect you if you're not going to marry me. But also, you have to find your own job here. And when your grandfather was here, he did like so much damage to the building and to the staff that just about everybody hates him. And they hate her just by proximity. She's related to him by blood. She is hated. So he tells her, good luck finding somebody to hire you because I'm not going to help you. If you can find a job, you can work. But if you can't find a job, like, I might eat you. Like, and that, like, literally, like, she will be his dinner because that's just the way it goes. So Aoi sets out to find a job somewhere within this new world. But just like the ogre said, it's not really easy to find somebody to hire her. She can barely get 2 words out to the majority of the staff before they tell her, like, don't talk to me, don't breathe the same air as me, like, get out. So she's a little bit saddened, but she's not all that put back. She's just thinking, like, nobody hired me today. I just got to try extra hard tomorrow. And she sets off to go to bed when this cute little 9-tailed fox demon comes in and brings her food. And I love this cute little 9-tailed fox demon. He is a yokai. He is the young master of the house, while the ogre demon is the master of the house. Don't really know the difference between the two, but so the 9-tailed fox young master is in the form of a young boy, brings food to Aoi, tells her, like, you must have had a day, like, you poor thing, I feel so bad for you. And while you may think he is just being like a conniving yokai trying to butter her up to get something from her, it seems like he actually is just really worried about her and wanted to make sure she had a meal. It was really cute. So Aoi gains her first ally in this 9-tailed fox. And we're not quite sure why he's so nice to her, because literally everybody else despises her. He's the only one that's even, like, not even just neutral, kind to her. So it's kind of like she's getting whiplash from the opposite reactions she's been getting. So she eats her food, thanks him, goes to bed. Next day, same thing happens. She tries to get work. Some of them won't even acknowledge her. Others tell her they hate her. It's basically nobody wants to hire her. She's pretty disheartened when she finds her way into what looks like an abandoned stockroom. And in the stockroom, she runs into the same 9-tailed fox demon, who now is in an adult form. Because it turns out, as a 9-tailed fox, he can transform into 9 different forms. We see 3. Yeah, we see 3 different forms in. No, 4. 4. We see 4 different forms in this volume. We see him as a adult woman, child boy, adult boy, and then, like, fox. I'm curious what the other 5 are, but maybe we'll see them later. Yeah. And so he explains that this stockroom had been many different businesses in the past, but for some reason, misfortune always falls upon the business, leading it to go out of business. And now this place, because it feels like it's like haunted, basically, is set to be torn down. And so he's just there getting everything out. Aoi asks, like, what was this place? Like, what was the very most recent, the very last use for this storehouse? What was it? And he explains it was something to do with food. So there's food in the fridge. What does Aoi love to do? Cook. So she offers to cook a meal for the nine-tailed fox as a way of saying thank you for the food last night. He requests like an omelet of sorts, and Aoi says like that's a childish dish. Are you sure? Which like no, it's not. And then he just transforms into his child form, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm a kid. Feed me." And it's really cute. But so she starts making it, hands it to him, and it's delicious. And the nine-tailed fox tells her, "You should absolutely make this for the ogre demon." But she doesn't want to associate with the ogre demon at all. She's kind of weirded out by him wanting to marry her. Again, not weirded out that he kidnapped her. Weirded out that he wants to marry her. And she says, like, absolutely not. I hate him. I don't want to be near him. And the nine-tailed fox is like, okay, I think you should give it to him, but okay. And then we don't really know what's going to happen. I have my inklings of what's going to happen in the stock room, but really, she just makes him a meal, and then they call it a day. And then she hears a commotion back in the main hall of the area that they're in, and she runs there, and then it kind of there's a cliffhanger in volume 1. And that's what happens for volume 1. So everything does take place at this like hotel in the other world. It doesn't give you any idea how big this other world is. So literally everything just takes place at this grand hotel. And I actually quite liked it. I don't know. I really don't know if there's going to be any romance because this is the ogre, this is the nine-tailed fox, and this is Aoi. I really don't know if there's going to be romance between any of them, to be honest. We do get hints that the nine-tailed fox has known Aoi since she was a kid, so I'm hoping they don't get together because that would be weird. We have the ogre who, like, I can see him winning over Aoi, her learning more about him, understanding why he's doing what he's doing, and they get into a relationship. Like I could see myself getting behind that if it's done well, but I would also be okay if this story just was a feel good slice of life, let's cook some food in another world type of story, which I do kind of hope it leans towards that. I don't think this one really needs romance. I would welcome romance. I always welcome romance when it's done well, but I don't think it needs it. But yeah, have you read this one? This one is pretty old. Like it's done. I don't know how old it is. I'm a little embarrassed. I'm only reading it now, but that's okay. Better now than never. Yeah, if you've read this, please let me know what you think. Don't let me know if my guesses are spot on or not because I like the surprise. I like not knowing until I find out.